Hey everyone, it's Jenny. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the Traveler's Notebook free dated weekly versus the Baum-kuchen JIYU free dated weekly. And I am probably butchering the name, I apologize. So in this video, I'm going to show you the difference between layout, how I'm using it, a little bit about the paper and grid size, and other benefits that I'm seeing between the two. So this is how I was using the Traveler's Notebook free dated weekly. It's on the cream paper, pretty straightforward layout. If you have it without anything on it, it's just one strip per day. And then it ends up being 7 strips total with Monday through Sunday going down here. So I love that it's a Monday start. So the way I was working this, these were all the things that I needed to know for the week. This ended up being kind of like a memory keeping spot, and this one were tasks for the day, and then using the bullet journal style where I would forward things that needed to be forward, complete them just whenever they needed to be completed, and also not really keeping a ton of mindfulness around if I like wrote something here, I didn't have to complete it on Monday. I would just try and complete it or forward it before the end of the week. And then the last column I used for what I call my Chris list for my partner, so that I could remember the things that I wanted to talk to him about, so that we don't text each other all day, because it's really easy to do. I liked this. It was good enough. It uses the MD cream paper, which is good. I found the grid to be pretty big, only because I really don't like the 5mm grid, but that is personal preference. And I was looking for a reason to move to Tomoe River Paper, and so I found the Baum-kuchen solution, and this is their weekly. It is a collaboration with Travelers, so that's pretty cool. So JIYU means freedom in Japanese. Experiment and create a system that works for your life. This is how I have it set up so far. Nothing on the front cover so far. It's really interesting that this front page is MD paper, but then the rest is Tomoe River paper. Anyhow, so about the layout, you can see it has Monday through Friday on the left side, and then Saturday and Sunday on the right side. And I was a little bit hesitant to use that because it felt like I wasn't dividing between the schedule and other notes, but I've adapted pretty quickly, and I'm liking this. In terms of how I'm using each section, on the day itself, I have triangles for events, and I usually will plan the week before just so I know what's coming up. So like, I usually plan on Sundays, but I will put things for the following week just as it comes up. And so that's working well. So any tasks that have to be done that specific day, I'll put a little bullet point and then the item. And then any tasks that need to be done overall in the week, I put over here in this column here. I really like this because it gives it a little bit more breathing room in terms of what day it can be done on, rather than in this solution, it ended up feeling like I still had to get it done on that day because of the way it was laid out. So I'm liking that. And I also have a running list for my Chris list for questions for him. And then I end up using these lines here and sections here for memory keeping. So I feel like in general, there's a lot more breathing room, and because it is lighter lines and more white space in general, it just feels a lot less regimented, which is ultimately what I imagine that they were aiming for with the freedom concept. So that's pretty nice. And let me see if I can zoom in here. Yeah, I just want you to be able to see the grid size and like how the grid doesn't go all the way over. That's pretty nice. And then just these slight lines that don't go all the way across, because why do they need to go all the way across? We don't know. It doesn't really need to happen. And actually there are no lines over the dates, which is nice. I do like writing the dates in a different color so that they stand out a little more. I'm using the top right box for the week number, which ultimately it doesn't mean a whole lot to me, but as the weeks get closer to 52, I know it's closer to the end of the year. That's really all the reason that I do that for. Just a quick shout out to Erin Ware. I was a part of her Patreon for a little bit and I really love her art style. So I have a couple of her stickers here, which is also cool because she was just on the BK Analog blog, which I was on earlier this year too. So just really cool to read more of her story. And this is a Serica Studio sticker. So I'm really liking this. I will say overall, the quality of the print isn't precise. Like you can see how there's more space here than over here. So the printing is a little bit strange, but that doesn't super bother me. And overall, I do really like the Tomoe River Paper, and it is cream Tomoe River Paper, which is a tough find. So I'm really happy about that. Wait, what? I always was under the impression that this was a 5mm grid. My mind is kind of blown right now. Anyway, I do really like this grid because it's lighter no matter what, so it feels less intrusive than the Traveler's Notebook grid. So that's something. That's really it. I will be in this notebook for quite a while because there are many pages. And so that's nice. And you can fit more in this insert because it does use a Tomoe River paper. One thing I want to mention that I can't really show you, but I can talk about, is that this insert does not have the perpetual calendar that the Traveler's Notebook Free Dated Weekly does. And what I was using that for were birthdays. So it would have, 6 columns per spread, and then I could put the month at the top and then write down birthdays for each month. That way I knew they were coming up without having to refer to my contacts in my phone or something like that. So I did end up just copying and printing them out in here, and you can kind of see what that looks like. I scanned it in from my Traveler's Notebook insert and then just printed it out slightly smaller so that I could have a copy in here, and I just used sticker paper and stuck it in the back, which isn't the most glamorous solution, but I do really like that. Yeah, what else? Oh, I I wanted to kind of flex my my handwritten note from Makoko, the founder of Baum-kuchen. I do love that. And in this like sub dashboard, I have things that I need to do every week of just like, hey, when I do my finances on Friday, here's all the things that I need to do so that I don't have to constantly remind myself. Final thing that I'll mention is that because of the additional white space in here, I feel more comfortable using stickers, which just helps break up the spread visually and provide a lot more joy. This felt very regimented and very much like, oh, I have to use all the space. Anyway, that is it for this week's video. I hope you're doing well, and I'll talk to you soon.